Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to understand wealth, you must first understand that wealth is not measured by how much you earn. It's measured by what you keep, what you grow, and what continues to work long after you stop working. Many people spend their whole lives chasing higher income, but income alone has never made anyone truly wealthy. It's what you do with that income that determines your financial future. The rich don't focus on looking rich. They focus on buying freedom. They focus on acquiring assets that produce value whether they show up or not. They understand that money is a tool, nothing more, nothing less. Those who treat it wisely are the ones who eventually win the game. Wealth comes from assets because assets have the unique ability to continue producing value long after the initial effort has been completed. Income demands your presence, your time, your energy. If you don't show up, it stops arriving. Assets don't need you every day. They work in the background, quietly, steadily, faithfully. And that is the difference. That separates those who struggle forever from those who gain freedom. Most people spend their lives trying to earn more income, believing that if they could just add a little more to their paycheck, everything would change. But income alone has never created lasting wealth. It pays for today, but it doesn't secure tomorrow. Income keeps you surviving. Assets help you escape the cycle. Completely an asset is anything that puts money into your pocket without demanding your daily effort. It might be a rental property, a business system, a digital product, stocks, dividends, skills that create value repeatedly, intellectual property, or even a strong network that opens opportunities. The wealthy understand that their goal is not just to accumulate money, but to accumulate engines that generate money. The more engines they build, the more their life expands. Wealth is not the result of one big asset. It's the result of multiple small ones built consistently over time. Income can make you feel comfortable, but assets make you feel powerful. They shift your financial life from active labor to passive growth. The challenge for most people is that they mistake liabilities for assets. They buy things that look impressive but drain their finances month after month. A luxury car is not an asset if you're making payments on it. A bigger house is not an asset if it's stretching your income. These things may offer comfort or status, but they do not offer freedom. The wealthy avoid confusing lifestyle with wealth. They understand that what matters is not how something looks from the outside, but what it produces on the inside. A simple piece of real estate that pays you consistently is worth far more than a beautiful item that pays you nothing. True wealth is measured by production, not appearance. Income gives you the ability to live. Assets give you the ability to choose how to live. When your assets grow large enough, they begin covering your expenses. And that is the moment freedom begins. That is the point where your time belongs to you again. Most people work their entire lives hoping for retirement. Wealthy people build assets so they don't have to wait for retirement. They create independence, decade by decade, asset by asset, until their financial life becomes supported by machines they built years earlier. The mindset is simple. Use your income to buy assets, not liabilities. Use your effort to build systems, not dependencies. Use your time to create value that continues paying you. The richest individuals didn't become wealthy by earning endlessly. They became wealthy by converting income into ownership. They understood early that the goal was not to work harder, but to work smarter. They didn't chase higher salaries. They chased bigger opportunities. They didn't focus on increasing hours. They focused on increasing value. They used income as a tool to escape the need for income. When income flows into assets, assets produce more income, and the cycle begins working in your favor instead of against you. Paying yourself first is one of the simplest principles to understand, yet one of the hardest to practice, because it requires discipline before desire, responsibility before comfort, and future thinking before present emotion. Most people work hard for their money, but their money doesn't work for them because they give it away the moment it arrives. The rent gets its share, the bills get their share, the shops get their share, the lifestyle gets its share. And by the time everyone else is paid, there is nothing left for the one who earned it. This habit keeps people stuck. It keeps them dependent on every new paycheck. It keeps them living month to month with no margin, no security, and no growth. Paying yourself first breaks that cycle by declaring that your financial future deserves priority, not leftovers. When you pay yourself first, you're making a statement. A portion of your income belongs to your future before any of it belongs to your expenses. It doesn't matter how small that portion is in the beginning. What matters is the discipline behind it. Even 5% saved consistently builds a foundation. 10% builds momentum. 20% builds freedom. The habit is more powerful than the amount because the habit shapes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who takes control of money rather than someone controlled by it. You develop the mindset of a builder, someone who believes in setting aside something today so that tomorrow is stronger. Every deposit becomes a promise kept, a small vote of confidence in your future self. Paying yourself first also protects you from the trap of lifestyle inflation. As income rises, most people immediately increase their spending. They move into bigger homes, buy nicer cars, upgrade their habits, and stretch their budget until every new dollar disappears just as quickly as the old ones. They earn more but remain stuck. They improve their lifestyle but not their financial position. When you pay yourself first, you automatically create a barrier that prevents lifestyle from consuming everything. You live on what remains instead of saving what remains, and that simple switch changes the entire direction of your financial life. You build margin. You build strength. You build options. Another benefit of paying yourself first is the emotional stability it creates. When you have savings, investments, or an emergency fund, life's challenges don't hit as hard. A surprise bill doesn't destroy your confidence. A job change doesn't create panic. A slow season doesn't break your peace. You carry yourself differently because you know you're not standing on financial thin ice. Your future feels safer, and that safety brings clarity. Clarity improves decision-making. Better decisions create better outcomes. And suddenly the habit of paying yourself first transforms everything. From your stress level to your opportunities, this principle also sets the foundation for investing. You can't invest what you don't save. You can't build wealth without capital. Paying yourself first creates that capital over time. It gives you the resources to buy assets, start ventures, take advantage of opportunities, and grow your financial life beyond the limits of a paycheck. The habit becomes the engine that powers every other wealth-building rule. It teaches discipline, foresight, and control. It teaches you to build before you spend and to invest before you indulge. When you consistently pay yourself first, you stop being a servant to money and you start becoming a steward of it. You create a future that isn't left to chance. You build a financial foundation strong enough to support your goals, your dreams, and your freedom. When Jim Rohn emphasizes that the rich focus on building assets instead of only increasing income, he's highlighting one of the most fundamental shifts in financial mindset. Most people spend their entire lives working harder and harder for a paycheck, thinking that higher income automatically means greater wealth. But income alone doesn't create security, freedom, or long-term prosperity. Assets do. Assets are things that continue to pay you even when you're not actively working. This includes businesses, investments, rental properties, intellectual property, systems, and anything that generates ongoing cash flow. Jim Rohn believed that the goal is not to work more hours, but to build something that pays you long after the hours are done. When you understand this, your entire approach to money starts to change because wealth is built during the hours you're not working, not just during the hours you are. Rich people use their time and resources to create structures that produce money without constant effort, while average people stay trapped in the cycle of trading time for money. Jim Rohn often explained that one of the biggest financial mistakes people make is consuming everything they earn. Instead of putting money into assets that multiply, they put money into liabilities that drain them. A liability takes money out of your pocket. An asset puts money into your pocket. The rich understand this distinction deeply. When money comes in, they don't ask, what can I buy? But what can I build? Or where can I invest this so it grows? This subtle shift in thinking becomes a powerful wealth-building habit over time. They look for opportunities to plant seeds that will grow into financial trees, providing shade for years to come. And every asset they build reduces their dependency on active labor. Every asset increases their stability and choices. Every asset moves them one step closer to financial independence. Another key element Jim Rohn highlighted is the understanding of delayed gratification. Building assets requires discipline. You may need to invest time, effort, and money into something that may not pay off immediately. But the rich are willing to delay rewards for long-term gain. They know wealth is not created overnight. It grows like a garden. You must plant, water, nurture, and protect it before it gives a harvest. This mindset is why the rich see investments as opportunities, not expenses. They don't fear putting money into real estate, stocks, or a side business because they understand the power of compounding. Every dollar invested in an asset is a worker that keeps earning more dollars over time. Those dollars bring more workers, and the cycle continues to grow. Jim Rohn also emphasized that assets come in many forms, not just financial ones. Skills can be assets. Knowledge can be an asset. Relationships, systems, and habits can all be assets. When you build your skills, you increase your ability to earn money in the future. When you build your mindset, you increase your ability to recognize and seize opportunities. When you build strong habits, you create consistency that compounds over time. So focusing on assets means focusing on anything that improves your long-term value. Rich people constantly invest in their personal development because they know that the biggest asset they will ever own is themselves. They are always learning, upgrading, and evolving so that their decision-making, creativity, and problem-solving abilities continue to grow. This is why Jim Rohn taught that wealth is not just something you pursue, it's something you attract by becoming a person capable of creating and managing it. Becoming wealthy is not only about collecting money, it's about building the character, mindset, and discipline that allow you to build assets. The moment you shift your focus from income to assets, your relationship with money improves. Your decisions become smarter and your financial future becomes stronger because you are no longer working only for money. Your money is working for you. Jim Rohn's fourth money rule emphasizes that the rich never rely on one source of income because they understand that depending on a single stream is the fastest way to stay financially vulnerable. Most people live with only one income, a job, and that job depends on factors often outside their control, company decisions. Economic conditions, health, industry shifts, or sudden crisis. When you depend on only one stream, any disruption can collapse your entire financial foundation. Rich people think differently. They treat income streams like pillars holding up a building. If one pillar weakens, the structure still stands because the others provide stability. This mindset creates resilience, confidence, and freedom. Jim Rohn taught that financial security is not created by earning more from one source, but by building multiple flows of money so you're never at the mercy of a single situation. The rich actively build, expand, and diversify their income sources. They do not wait for opportunities, they create them. They understand that each new stream adds another layer of protection and growth to their financial life. This might include starting a side business, developing digital products, investing in real estate, earning dividends from stocks, creating intellectual property, or building automated online systems. Every stream doesn't have to be huge. In fact, many wealthy individuals start with small streams that grow slowly over time. The power lies in consistency and accumulation. A few $100s from one source, a few hundred from another, 1,000 from another. These add up to meaningful independence. This approach eliminates the fear of losing a job or encountering unexpected expenses because you are not tied to a single lifeline. You own several. Rich people design their financial world so that money reaches them from many directions, reducing stress while expanding options. Jim Rohn believed that having multiple income streams isn't just a financial strategy, it's a personal growth strategy. Building new streams forces you to grow, learn new skills, think creatively, and step into new territories. Every new source of income requires knowledge, discipline, resilience, and adaptability. You might have to learn investing, marketing, sales, product creation, leadership management, or automation. Each skill you develop becomes an asset that pays you for life. This is why the rich are always learning, experimenting, and adapting. They treat income like a garden, plant many seeds, nurture many plants, and harvest from multiple areas. If one seed doesn't grow, you learn and plant more. They never stop planting because they understand that wealth grows from variety, not from dependence. Another important part of Jim Rohn's message is that multiple income streams give you more time, choices, and freedom. When you are not chained to one job for survival, you can pursue opportunities that align with your dreams instead of ones that simply pay the bills. You can take risks, start projects, or follow passions without fear of losing stability. You can support your family better, contribute more, and design a lifestyle you actually enjoy. The rich build multiple incomes, not just to collect money, but to create a life where they are in control. When money flows from many directions, life becomes lighter, decisions become easier, and future planning becomes clear. Rich people achieve this not by luck, but by intention. They build, they diversify, and they refuse to let their entire future depend on a single source, because they know true wealth is created when your income works like a team, not a solo player. Another major money rule the rich live by is the commitment to spending smart, which begins with mastering the difference between needs and wants. This rule isn't about being cheap, it's about being conscious. The wealthy understand that money is a tool, and tools must be used wisely. Most people spend emotionally, impulsively, or reactively, often confusing short-term pleasure with long-term value. Rich people train themselves to slow down, evaluate, and discipline their spending habits. They recognize that every dollar has a destination, and they decide intentionally where that destination should be. When you master your spending, you gain control over your financial future, instead of letting desires and impulses dictate your direction. This discipline is not restrictive, it's freeing. It puts power back into your hands and stops money from slipping away unnoticed. The rich avoid lifestyle inflation. They don't let increased income automatically translate into increased expenses. When they earn more, they don't rush to upgrade their car, home, wardrobe, or entertainment. Instead, they reinvest. They channel that extra money toward assets that grow, multiply, and create returns. They buy investments before luxuries, knowing that assets will eventually pay for the luxuries anyway. Most people do the opposite. They buy the luxury first, then struggle with debt, stress, and financial pressure. The wealthy understand the golden order: assets first, desires later. They know that every unnecessary expense delays their progress, and every disciplined choice accelerates it. They view money as soldiers, and they send those soldiers into battle to bring more back, not to be lost in the chaos of impulse spending. Rich people also practice awareness. They track their spending, not because they are obsessed with money, but because they don't want blind spots. They know that small leaks sink big ships. A little overspending here, a careless purchase there, a subscription you no longer use. These seem small, but accumulate over time. The wealthy keep an eye on every dollar, not out of fear, but out of respect. They respect money enough to manage it, to direct it, and to protect it. They understand that uncontrolled spending is like leaving the windows open during a storm. You can't complain about the damage if you never took the time to close the gaps. Awareness creates power. Power creates confidence. Confidence creates financial strength. Another important part of this rule is emotional discipline. Rich people don't buy things to impress others or to fill emotional voids. They don't use spending as a tool for validation. They make financial decisions based on logic, value, and long-term impact, not feelings of envy, insecurity, or social pressure. When the temptation to spend arises, they ask better questions. Does this move me closer to my goals or away from them? Will I regret this a month from now? Is this purchase a reflection of growth or distraction? These questions keep them grounded and aligned. They understand that wealth isn't built by big investments alone, but also by small, consistent choices made with clarity and wisdom. Ultimately, the rich build a lifestyle that supports their financial growth instead of one that drains it. They choose simplicity over flashiness, efficiency over indulgence, and long-term gain over short-term excitement. They are not controlled by trends, advertisements, or the expectations of others. They live intentionally, knowing that smart spending is the foundation for creating meaningful wealth. Every choice either builds your financial future or steals from it, and the wealthy choose to build, not weaken, the life they are creating through their discipline and awareness. Another key rule the rich follow is the commitment to protecting, planning, and practicing patience with their money. Wealth isn't built in a moment of excitement or a streak of luck. It's built through consistency, caution, and long-term thinking. The rich understand that money grows the same way trees grow, slowly, steadily, and only when protected from storms. They don't rush, gamble, or chase quick wins. They build strong foundations. They make sure their financial structure can withstand setbacks, market fluctuations, unexpected expenses, and changing seasons of life. They protect what they earn through insurance, emergency funds, smart planning, and avoiding reckless decisions. They treat every dollar with respect, because respected money multiplies while neglected money disappears. Protecting wealth is just as important as creating it, and the rich never forget this truth. Planning is another pillar that separates the financially successful from everyone else. The wealthy don't leave their future to chance. They map out their goals with clarity, define their timelines, and create strategies to reach them. They plan their investments, their monthly budgets, their savings targets, their career moves, and even their lifestyle upgrades. Nothing is random. Nothing is accidental. They know exactly why their money is going where it's going. This level of intentionality gives them power. It keeps them from drifting, wasting, or overspending. It gives direction to their financial energy. A financial plan acts like a compass, keeping them aligned when distractions, temptations, or setbacks try to pull them off track. Without a plan, money slips away. With a plan, money has purpose. The rich choose purpose over randomness every time. Patience is the third layer, and perhaps the most underestimated. Most people want fast results. They want wealth without the waiting, success without the process, and results without discipline. But the rich know that real wealth responds to time, not impatience. They plant seeds, investments, businesses, assets, and give them room to grow. They don't panic during temporary downturns, nor do they celebrate prematurely during temporary gains. They let time do its work. They trust in compound growth. They understand that small steps taken consistently beat big steps taken sporadically. They are patient because they know that wealth rewards those who respect the timeline of growth. Impatience destroys opportunities. Patience multiplies them. The rich also protect themselves from emotional decisions by having long-term perspectives. They avoid reacting to fear, greed, stress, excitement, or pressure. When markets rise, they don't rush into hype. When markets fall, they don't rush out of fear. They stay calm, guided by principles instead of emotions. Emotional decisions are expensive decisions. Rational decisions are profitable decisions. This mindset gives the wealthy a stable hand in an unpredictable world. Through patience, they maintain clarity. Through clarity, they make smart moves. Through smart moves, they build lasting wealth. Together, protection, planning, and patience form a powerful trio. These habits keep wealth safe, guide it toward growth, and ensure it performs over time. This is how the rich stay rich, not by chance, not by luck, not by shortcuts, but by protecting what they have, planning where it goes, and patiently allowing it to become something greater than it was when it first arrived.